Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, please stand for the arrival of the official guests. Representing the Commissioner of Queensland Police Service, Assistant Commissioner Catherine Innes, APM. The National President of the Australian Bravery Association, Mr. Andrew Kendall. And representing the Chair of the Order of Australia Association, Mr. Darryl Seacombe, OAM. Please join me in welcoming our official guests. The Governor of Queensland, Her Excellency the Honourable Dr. Jeanette Young, PSM. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Your Excellency, with your permission, I'll commence the ceremony. Her Excellency the Governor will invest as a member of the Order of Australia in the General Division Emeritus Professor Marianne Claire Wallace. For significant service to tertiary education, to nursing and to research, through professional and leadership roles at the University of the Sunshine Coast, Southern Cross University, Griffith University, the Australian Catholic University, Sydney, and Queensland Health, and in advisory roles on numerous specialist committees. Her Excellency the Governor will invest as a member of the Order of Australia in the General Division, Ms. Shane Joan Wild. For significant service to the LGBTQIA and differently abled communities through a range of roles and reforms, including as a founding member of the Brisbane Pride Collective, the Australian Council of Lesbian and Gay Rights, and the Queensland International Lesbian Day Committee, and as an active member and lobbyist for numerous community groups. Her Excellency the Governor will present the Bravery Medal to Sergeant Clint William Drew and Senior Constable Dylan Michael Maestri. Please stand. Sergeant Clint Drew and Senior Constable Dylan Maestri displayed considerable bravery during the rescue of people from a burning vehicle on Palm Island, Queensland, on the 27th of December 2017. At about 6:30 a.m., a vehicle containing 3 people collided with a power pole and burst into flames. The vehicle had been severely damaged, trapping the occupants inside. Sergeant Drew, then a Senior Constable Maestri, and other officers arrived at the scene and approached the burning vehicle. Senior Constable Maestri alerted other emergency services and requested their attendance. Sergeant Drew and Senior Constable Maestri then approached the vehicle and managed to free one of the occupants through the rear window and remove him to a safe distance. Sergeant Drew then called for bystanders who had gathered to source water to help douse the growing flames. Senior Constable Maestri noticed another occupant in the front of the vehicle who was unresponsive. He attempted to remove the person, but they were trapped by crumpled vehicle panels. Sergeant Drew then returned to the vehicle to assist Senior Constable Maestri, and they worked together in an attempt to extricate the other occupant, but he was unable to be freed from the wreckage. Sergeant Drew and Senior Constable Maestri were then directed to move away from the vehicle as the flames and smoke were intensifying. Emergency services arrived and extinguished the flames. Sergeant Drew and Senior Constable Maestri assisted with the removal of the remaining 2 occupants, and all 3 occupants were taken to the hospital for treatment. Sadly, one of the occupants died at the scene. Sergeant Drew and Senior Constable Maestri also proceeded to the hospital, where they were treated for smoke inhalation. For his actions, Sergeant Drew displayed considerable bravery and is awarded the Bravery Medal. For his actions, Senior Constable Maestri displayed considerable bravery and is awarded the Bravery Medal. Her Excellency the Governor will present the Bravery Medal to Senior Constable Kimberly Jane Murphy and Senior Constable William Robert Atwood. Senior Constable Kimberly Murphy and Senior Constable William Atwood displayed considerable bravery during the attempted rescue of a man in Bowen, Queensland on the 12th of December 2015. In the early evening, a 000 call was received from a man who said that his home unit was full of gas and he was threatening to ignite it. Senior Constable Murphy, then a constable, and Senior Constable Atwood, then a constable, were dispatched to the block of home units. On reaching the front door of the man's unit, the officers detected the smell and sound of gas being released from a cylinder inside the unit. Senior Constable Murphy and Senior Constable Atwood issued verbal commands to the man to turn off the gas and come outside. With the man refusing to leave the unit, Senior Constable Atwood forced entry by kicking the front door, and the officers went inside. Without warning, a large explosion occurred, and both officers were thrown backwards by the force. Regaining their feet, and despite their injuries, Senior Constable Murphy re-entered the unit, telling the man to get out as fire began to take hold. Due to the heat, Senior Constable Murphy had to exit the unit. Senior Constable Atwood then re-entered the unit to remove the man, but also had to leave. Both officers then evacuated the other units in the complex. The badly injured man emerged from the unit and was taken to hospital for treatment, but sadly he did not survive his injuries. Both officers were also taken to hospital and treated for second-degree burns caused by the explosion. Senior Constable Murphy was later airlifted to Townsville Hospital for further treatment. For her actions, Senior Constable Murphy displayed considerable bravery and is awarded the Bravery Medal. For his actions, Senior Constable Atwood displayed considerable bravery and is awarded the Bravery Medal. Her Excellency the Governor will present the Australian Police Medal to Assistant Commissioner Brian Desmond Connors. For service to the Queensland Police Service, through dedication and exemplary service to the community throughout his career, in appointments including as Assistant Commissioner of the North Coast Region, as Acting Assistant Commissioner, Operations Support Command, as Commander of the Specialist Response Group Operations Support Command, as Superintendent Service Improvement Organisational Capability Command, as Superintendent District Officer Cairns District, as a Detective Sergeant in the Bureau of Criminal Intelligence and Organised Crime Squad, as a Plainclothes Constable in the Cairns Criminal Investigation Branch and Drug Squad, and as a General Duties Officer in Mackay and Cairns. Excellency the Governor will present the Australian Police Medal to Assistant Commissioner Catherine Louise Innes. For service to the Queensland Police Service, providing dedicated service and demonstrating personal drive and experience in both the crime and intelligence sectors, through appointments including as Assistant Commissioner, Crime and Intelligence Command, leading the prevention, disruption, response and investigation of crime utilising high-level intelligence products, as Chief Superintendent, State Crime Command, the state's most senior detective, as District Disaster Coordinator for the 2019 bushfires event, and as Joint Senior Investigating Officer for the largest counter-terrorism event in Queensland in 2014. Her Excellency the Governor will present the Australian Police Medal to Inspector Michael William Dowie. For service to the Queensland Police Service, demonstrating superior dedication and commitment throughout his extensive policing career, with significant achievements in establishing mutually productive working relationships with leaders of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, and through his appointments, including as Patrol Inspector in the Capricornia District based in Rockhampton, frontline policing duties in Cairns, Thursday Island, Tully, Mareeba, Gold Coast Crime Investigation Branch, State Crime Command, Homicide Group and Drug and Serious Crime Group, State Coordinator, Major and Organised Crime Squad, Regional, and District Officer, Charleville and Rockhampton, playing a pivotal role in a number of high-profile investigations into serious and organised crime. Her Excellency the Governor will present the Australian Police Medal to Detective Senior Sergeant Darren Andrew Edwards. For service to the Queensland Police Service, dealing with crime, vulnerable persons and public engagement in Queensland and the Northern Territory, through appointments including as Officer in Charge of the Sunshine Coast CIB, Detective Senior Sergeant Ethical Standards Command in the State Crime Operations Command, in the National Crime Authority and the Mackay CIB. Excellency the Governor will present the Australian Police Medal to Senior Sergeant Peter Calvin McFarlane. For service to the Queensland Police Service in regional and rural areas across the state, displaying exemplary leadership of frontline policing, producing outstanding service delivery to the community, through appointments including as Officer in Charge, Emerald Police Station, as a General Duties Officer in various stations in the Cairns District, Cooktown, Tannum Sands, and as a Watch Officer in Gladstone and Toowoomba. Her Excellency the Governor will present the Australian Police Medal to Senior Sergeant Heather Ann Wallace. For service to the Queensland Police Service, making a significant contribution to the Gulf community, bringing positive police and community engagement, and through appointments including as Officer in Charge, Caboolture Watch House, Sergeant General Duties Normanton, as an investigator in the field of child protection in the Child Protection Offender Registry and the Suspected Child Abuse and Neglect Youth Justice and Child Abuse Team, and as the Union Sub-Branch President, leading the collaboration and collation of rural and remote strategies to attract and retain officers to the Gulf communities. Her Excellency the Governor will present the Australian Police Medal to Senior Sergeant James Charles Whitehead. For service to the Queensland Police Service, particularly in the field of search and rescue, coordinating and providing advice for over 15,000 search and rescue incidents, resulting in the recovery of over 22,000 people reported as lost or missing. Developing the Queensland Search and Rescue System, creating national training packages for search and rescue diploma and advanced diploma courses, facilitating training for numerous search and rescue courses within Australia and internationally, creating the Australian Lost Person Behaviour Database, and providing advice for numerous search and rescue operations, including the MH370 plane crash, the Daniel Morecambe search, and the 2010-2011 Queensland flood events, and through appointments including a State Search and Rescue Coordinator and Training Officer, Water Police Group and General Duties Officer in Southport, Inala, Rathdowney, and in remote areas of Queensland including Longreach and Julia Creek. Her Excellency the Governor will present the Commendation for Brave Conduct to Detective Senior Constable Liam James McWhinney and Senior Constable Scott Stewart Wilson. Detective Senior Constable Liam McWhinney and Senior Constable Scott Wilson are commended for brave conduct for their actions during an incident with an armed offender in Mackay, Queensland on the 30th of May 2018. In the afternoon, Senior Constable Wilson, then a constable, and two other officers were first on the scene in response to multiple 000 calls regarding a gunman in the central business district of Mackay. The offender, armed with multiple rifles, had walked up and down Gregory Street, discharging his weapons on several occasions. He then leant against a vehicle and pointed the gun towards his head. Arriving on the scene, Detective Senior Constable McWhinney joined Senior Constable Wilson and the two other officers and surrounded the gunman so as to prevent him from being near members of the public, and drew their service pistols. The officers directed the offender to drop his weapons, but he refused. Detective Senior Constable McWhinney and Senior Constable Wilson began to negotiate with the gunman, and after 20 minutes, police negotiators then spoke to the gunman via phone. Despite knowing the offender's weapons were loaded, Detective Senior Constable McWhinney, Senior Constable Wilson and the other officers stood their posts for approximately 50 minutes until the gunman placed his weapons on the ground and surrendered. For his actions, Detective Senior Constable McWhinney is commended for brave conduct. For his actions, Senior Constable Wilson is commended for brave conduct. Her Excellency the Governor will present the Commendation for Brave Conduct to Senior Constable Benjamin Dallas Brewster. Senior Constable Benjamin Brewster is commended for brave conduct for his actions during the rescue of a person at Mooloolaba Beach, Queensland on the 11th of December 2017. Around midnight, Senior Constable Brewster and another officer were on duty when they were notified that a man was threatening to throw himself onto rocks at Mooloolaba Beach. When Senior Constable Brewster and his colleague arrived at the beach, they used torches to locate the man who had entered the water and was being swamped by the heavy swell. Senior Constable Brewster threw his gun belt to his partner and entered the water, battling the heavy conditions and the darkness. The distressed man was about 75 metres from the shore when Senior Constable Brewster reached him. He grabbed hold of the man who put up a struggle. Both men were submerged several times before Senior Constable Brewster was able to get hold of the man again and swim him back to shore. On reaching waist-deep water, the man broke free and swam back out beyond the breaking waves. Senior Constable Brewster followed him and grabbed the struggling man again and returned him to shore. Despite being exhausted from the incident, Senior Constable Brewster restrained the man until paramedics arrived and took him to hospital. For his actions, Senior Constable Brewster is commended for brave conduct. Your Excellency, that concludes this morning's awards. Could I invite you to address the recipients and their guests?
I'll have to compose myself. That I found very emotional. We are so lucky with our police force. I'd like to begin by acknowledging our official guests. So first, representing the Commissioner of our Queensland Police Service, Assistant Commissioner Catherine Innes, APM. The National President of the Australian Bravery Association, Mr. Andrew Kendall. Thank you for being here. And representing the Chair of the Order of Australia Association, Mr. Daryl Seacon, OAM. Thank you to the three of you. I would like to also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that Brisbane is on, the Turrbal and Yagara people, and pay my respects to Elders, past, present and emerging, and any First Nations people here today. And I'd like to thank the police for the work you do with our First Nations people. A number of you have clearly spent a lot of time in First Nations communities, so thank you. I warmly welcome you all to Government House as we celebrate a very special occasion, the awarding of Australian Honours and Awards to 16 outstanding Queenslanders. Formal investiture ceremonies are significant events for all of us because they highlight how the extraordinary efforts of individuals are helping to strengthen our nation's ideals and aspirations. The awards are symbols of exemplary commitment, and I'm therefore proud, as the representative of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II in this state, to continue to uphold this important tradition. Today, we honour men and women who have contributed to our communities in diverse ways. As we celebrate the achievements of members of the Queensland Police Service, alongside those of civilians who've come from areas of health, in particular nursing and research, and who support the LGBTQIA community. Despite the obvious differences in what you all do and the reasons why you're receiving your awards, you're each, I believe, united by a profound sense of wanting to serve others. This means you've demonstrated qualities of exceptional dedication and have made a contribution that has been identified by your peers or your colleagues as being above and beyond what duty itself demands. Service is such a powerful word. It encompasses the admirable qualities of diligence, industry and effort, but also those of kindness, courage and sacrifice. Through your actions, you're helping to build stronger communities where people can live in safety and in harmony, feel valued and enjoy improved lives. By being such remarkable leaders, you are enhancing our communities, whether this is by helping those who do not have strong voices or are vulnerable, or by using your deep skills, knowledge and expertise to bring about positive change. Service may also come at great personal risk, as demonstrated so vividly by many of the awards being bestowed today. As role models, you're also demonstrating to the next generation of Queenslanders the achievements that are possible through determination and selflessness. I'm delighted we're able to bring you all together today so that your family and friends who have supported and encouraged you along the way can share this celebration with you. And I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible. On behalf of all Queenslanders, I congratulate and commend you for your efforts and for making such a beneficial difference to the lives of so many others. I also encourage you to wear these medals and decorations with pride, as they're potent symbols of what individuals can accomplish for the greater good. You've all made Queensland so proud. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, please stand for the Viceregal anthem. Thank you. Now, Your Excellency, could I invite you to retire shortly while we arrange the recipients for a photograph? Flight Lieutenant Lowe, could you please escort our official guests upstairs for refreshments? And please all be careful on the stairs, they'll be a bit slippy in the rain. If you'd like to follow Flight Lieutenant Lowe this way. Recipients, could you all just take a seat? We're going to arrange a group photo. And other guests, if you would then just like to follow our official guests upstairs, the staff will show you up for refreshments upstairs.